So let's just get right into it. If you spend any time at all online, you've seen them. These huge promises about making a ton of money with online courses. But how much of that is actually real? And how much is just, well, hype? Today, we are going to pull back that curtain and get to the unfiltered truth.
Yeah, this is exactly the kind of thing that just floods our social media feeds, right? It's exciting, for sure. It's aspirational. And honestly, it makes creating a course feel like you've just found a winning lottery ticket. That's the dream they're selling.
But is it really that simple? Is it really that easy? Or are we only seeing one tiny, super shiny piece of the whole puzzle? Well, that's the big question, and that's exactly what we're going to answer right now. So here's our game plan. We're going to start with the illusion of easy money. Then we'll look at three very realistic scenarios. After that, we'll break down the actual strategy that works, help you understand what you're really selling, and finally, we'll land on the truth about what it takes to succeed. All right, first things first. Let's talk about that big, flashy number. The whole idea that you can just upload a course and boom, the money starts rolling in. I hate to break it to you, but that's pretty much a myth. That €100,000 number, it totally hides the real story. See, it's almost always gross revenue, not what you actually take home. It doesn't include any of the costs. So you might spend, say, $60,000 on ads, maybe another 10 grand on your team and software, and suddenly your actual profit, your real margin, is way, way smaller.
And that's the key here. You've got to reframe how you think about this. Creating and selling an online course isn't just a side hobby. It's a real business. It has strategies, it has costs, and it takes real effort, just like any other startup. It's not a passive income machine from day one, that's for sure.
Okay, so now that we've kind of reset our expectations, let's look at what's actually possible. Because depending on where you're starting from, your journey is going to look completely different. Let's see which one of these three profiles sounds the most like you. Let's break this down. First, you've got the absolute beginner, who's basically starting from scratch. Here, your biggest challenge is just finding and reaching the right people. So a realistic goal is probably going to be under €500 a month. Next up is the growing creator. You've got an audience, maybe a few thousand followers. Now your potential jumps. We're talking 1 to 5,000 a month. But the challenge totally shifts. Now it's about turning those followers into actual buyers. And finally, the established pro. You've got a large, loyal audience. 10,000 a month? Totally possible. But the game changes again. Now it's all about how you scale and innovate. So the big question is, how do you move from one of those stages to the next? Well, I can tell you it's not about luck. It's about making a huge shift from just hoping for sales to building a repeatable system that brings them in consistently. There are really two fundamentally different ways to go about this. The hope method is, well, you create a course, you upload it, and you just kind of wait. The strategy approach is about actively building a system, nurturing relationships with your potential customers, and constantly driving traffic to your offer. One is passive wishing, the other is an actual business plan. So what does a winning strategy even look like? Well, it's basically a four-step process. First, you have to create a funnel to turn casual website visitors into email subscribers. Then you nurture that relationship, building trust with valuable emails and content. After that, you make an absolutely irresistible offer that clearly solves their problem. And finally, you can use things like upsells to increase the value of every single customer. See, it's a process, not a prayer. Now we're getting to what might be the single most important part of this whole thing. It's not about your course content itself. It's about what your course does for someone. This is all about the psychology of why people actually pull out their wallets and decide to buy. Here's the thing. People don't buy information. They can get information for free all over YouTube, right? So if you sell your course based on features like you get 10 hours of video, you're just competing with free stuff. But if you sell a transformation, a clear, structured path from a problem they have to a solution they desperately want, well, the perceived value just skyrockets. You're not selling lessons, you're selling a result. And for someone to believe you can actually give them that transformation, they have to trust you. Trust is your real currency in this game. You build it by consistently giving away valuable free content, by being authentic, and by creating a direct relationship with people using tools like email marketing, which, by the way, you control, not some social media algorithm. Okay, let's put all these pieces together. We've dismantled the myths, we've looked at the real strategies, and we've gotten into the psychology. So, what's the final unfiltered truth about what you can really expect to earn?
Look, for someone who's starting out, if you really apply these strategies and you put in consistent effort, aiming for an extra 500 to 2,000 euros a month within your first year, that is a solid, achievable goal. No, it's not 100,000 overnight, but it is a real, meaningful income built the right way.
And ultimately, it really just comes down to this. The people who make it aren't just luckier. They simply have a different mindset and a completely different approach. They take it seriously. So the ultimate takeaway here is this. While the earning potential really is limitless, that potential is only unlocked when you stop treating it like a little side project or a lottery ticket, and you start treating it like the real business it actually is. And that leaves us with one final question for you. It's really about a shift in perspective. Are you ready to move past just trying to sell a course and instead commit to actually building a real sustainable business around your knowledge? Because that right there, that's where the real opportunity begins.